Hi guys, so I'm here at the Heart Centered Visionaries podcast or YouTube channel, and I'm with Maja today, which I'm super excited to talk to. So Maja is a founder and holistic coach and healer at Qinspired by Maja Savic. And so welcome.
Hi, thanks for inviting me. It's a
You're
pleasure to be
welcome. And how are you doing? You're over in Croatia at the moment, aren't you?
I'm currently in Croatia, yes. France is on lockdown, and I decided that here it's a little bit nicer to stay with my family this time around.
Yeah.
So one lockdown in Paris, one in Croatia. I think we're good for the year now.
Oh, I know it's been a crazy almost a year now, hasn't it? I don't know where the time has gone. So, to start with, I've mentioned a little bit, you do coaching and healing, and I know Maja because I've worked with, Maja's been doing a lot of coaching and healing with me over the past few years. So, I just wanted to talk to Maja and get her to share her story because she's a very powerful healer and she's helped me overcome a lot of self-doubt and just helped me believe in myself a lot more and in my business. So I'd love to just start because I know that you had sort of, as we all do, like a struggle, and there was essence of you said you fell into a bit of depression, and from that you then found sort of yoga meditation. So I'd love to hear a bit about that, how that kind of tricky part of your life led you to find your healing path.
Wow, well, interesting. So I actually discovered yoga and meditation before the breakdown, way before in high school already. That's when I first started my spiritual awakening. And then throughout the years, been manifesting a lot of amazing things until that, we all have that one moment, I think, when you break down and you realize, wow, this sucks. It was, I don't want to go into details, but it was just a really difficult breakup, honestly. And to me, this is how I grow, actually. I realized after that whole experience, I learned so much through relationships, and this has been the greatest teaching tool for me, and a great catalyst for growth and change and transformation. Well, depression wasn't a pleasant experience, that's for sure. I'm definitely not normally a depressed person. You know me. I'm
Yeah.
like usually a happy-go-lucky, a very positive person. But when life kicks you in the butt, you just want to give up at some point.
Mm.
It took a lot of soul searching and a lot of forgiveness with myself and forgiving others to move through this. I won't lie, it took a few years, honestly. This whole process was a little bit traumatic for me, but it led to a really big breakthrough. It was the most life-changing experience in my entire life, where I was able to connect with my heart and get out of my own drama. Because when you're in a state of I don't even know how to call this, it's not I mean, it could be depression. I don't want to go into it because depression is a clinical form, but
Yeah.
let's say really, when you're focusing on your problem, you are actually really in your mind constantly. And it was until one singing workshop that I organized, when my teacher, who is also all of my teachers, voice teachers, were actually quite spiritual. And so they really helped me so much grow as a person, not only as a singer. So that's the other career, singing career. But it's interesting because he told me, I in the middle of the workshop, I actually went into breakdown. I broke down completely. I couldn't sing, and that normally happens at these workshops. It's not an unusual thing, actually. We cry a lot at singing workshops because it's quite transformational and healing, in fact. And he told me one thing that really stuck with me, and he told me that I was being egocentric. And I am a highly sensitive person and an empath, and for me, it was like the last thing that I want is for people to focus on me. And I was like, but I don't want people to focus on me. I want to like run away and hide somewhere and cry. And he explained to me, no, I mean, egocentric means that you are focused on yourself. So you're in your own drama, and all you have to do is look around and see that there are wonderful people around you and who want to hear you sing. And there's no judgment here. So I was really shocked by that. First, it was like, what? But then I realized, right, I'm completely focused on myself. And I just stopped paying attention. I mean, not stop paying attention, but I wasn't allowing anymore for drama to take over of my life. And I was more focused outward since that moment, to serving people, to connecting with them. Before that, I feel like my heart really shut down. I felt really, hurt by, not just my ex-boyfriend, but a few people that really kicked me in the butt. I think that's like a traditional late 20s breakdown moment where you have this amazing insights. It's actually really painful, but in the end, it really leads you to a wonderful place. And yeah, actually that helped me so much to really just focus on other people and just don't allow drama to take over my life. And that has been quite a journey. So actually years later, when I forgave my ex and everything, I actually thanked him for the experience. I actually told him, thank you for the really hard time you put me through. You hurt me so bad, but if it hadn't happened that way, I wouldn't have realized a thing, honestly. I would have moved on and in a few months and nothing would have changed. So I understood that it had to be that bad for me to realize some things. So ever since that moment, whenever I'm going through some tough times, I always think about the lesson. So the sooner I realize the lesson, I actually move through the tough time much quicker and easier. I have mastered the transformation process through this, actually. That's what led me to really transformational coaching, which was the first modality, and it still is, I guess. I help people make massive changes and go through spiritual awakenings with ease. Because I've been there more than once. Of course, after that, there were several other breakthroughs as well. So, but I just learned how to deal with it. So it never happened again that I was so depressed, that I was so down, because I realized if it was a difficult situation, I realized, wow, this is probably going to be an amazing breakthrough. And every single time it happened. So
wow, that's incredible. It's just hearing that, it is, why I wanted to ask you that was, it just shows that those darker places in our lives can lead us to transformation. And it's almost like it was a catalyst for your own healing. And I think so many times, like you've definitely taught me, that is to see the silver lining in the darkness or those struggles. And especially right now, I mean, everyone's going through so much uncertainty. I think that it's really important to see the silver lining. Maybe it's not easy to see straight away. And I find that, astrology has helped me find that through, the natal chart. It shows you your challenges and your struggles. So it's actually easier to face it. And I know there's a lot of modalities. Obviously, working with you is amazing modalities that you use. And I know one of them is numerology. That's also really helped you navigate through the energy and through the sort of cycles. So could you talk a bit more about that and how that's helped you as an empath, right? Because that's how I connected with you, of being a highly sensitive person. Those cycles really help you just navigate through life with ease. And it's so much easier, right, when you have a direction to follow.
Oh yeah, definitely. My God, that was like a really life-changing moment for me. That was another transformation I went through. There have been a few, The last one that I went through was in 2012, and I'm not sure that was the last, but anyway, one big one was 2012. I changed my life. I decided to move to Paris. It was a year of changes. I was ending my cycle, actually, my past cycle. I'm actually ending the second cycle now, so it's crazy.
So was that cycle 9?
yeah, I think it was year 9 or 1 or something like that. But then my sister actually introduced me to many different techniques. Ho'oponopono was one of them, and numerology. Ho'oponopono is a practice of forgiveness and gratitude, and it has taught me to, always see the big picture, never get stuck on a detail. So always trust that there is a bigger thing, and always express gratitude for everything, even the bad stuff, and of course forgiveness, which sets you free basically. And that has been a really powerful practice. And numerology is definitely, you know you know how important it is for me. I love numerology because it really confirms what you kind of already know. So it really just helps you know what to focus on each year. So what I focus on the most is the personal year cycles and personal months. So when I look at that, I always know what to expect from the year. So I'm ready. Like, I was ready for this year, wasn't really surprised by anything.
Mm.
I was expecting the massive changes.
What is this year? Because I know personally I'm the cycle year 9, so I understand why things seem a bit challenging for me, because I'm wrapping things up
Yes,
to start the new cycle, which you taught
yeah,
me.
yeah.
So what is the collective energy this year?
Well, so I always look at the energy of the year. So 2020 is number 4, which immediately tells me that there will be plenty of challenges and nothing will go according to the plan. That
Right.
was what I was prepared for. So I was like, I wasn't expecting a pandemic, that's for sure, but I was expecting a lot of changes in the plans. So I always look at the collective energy of the year, and then I look at what I'm going through as well.
Mm.
And then I kind of figure out how I'm gonna work with it. And then you can go also month by month, and it really just confirms what you already are doing most of the time. So whenever I'm doing like consultations with clients, I tell them, so 5 years ago this would have happened, and they were like, oh my god, yes. And like, I know.
It's
Isn't it
incredible.
amazing?
It's
And
incredible. It's like the astrology when you say something to somebody like, this is part of your life path, and they're like, yeah, I just knew that was in there. You just read my mind. It's like, well, it's in your birth chart. And
I
it's like
know.
that with numerology is when I found out my life path was 7, it made so much sense to me. Like the mystic, the deep thinker, kind of, you are on the spiritual path, and that is the way that you're meant to live.
Wow.
It gave me a sense of peace and harmony in myself.
What I love about numerology is that when I do talks with astrologers as well, when we look at the current situation and the predictions, it always matches. It's what I find amazing. Oftentimes, I combine, when I look at numerology and astrology together, it works together and it's actually quite in sync. And then, especially when I pull cards as well for the month, it also happens to be aligned.
Mm.
It's just so amazing to observe how everything's connected, and that together, all of it really forms a wonderful guidance, so you can move through life with clarity.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's funny how it's all in sync because it's newer to me, but astrologers that have been doing this work for 20 years have been predicting what is going to happen this year with that Saturn Pluto conjunction in January. So it's just so interesting that that energy can always show us where we need to focus, which is what I love how you teach the numerology. It's just fascinating.
Yeah.
So how would you, being a highly sensitive person, how would you say that knowing those energy cycles has helped you sort of on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it's not just numerology. There are 3 things actually that I'm tracking. Moon cycles in general, like the full moon and new moon energy. I also track my own personal cycle because there are different levels of energy throughout the month, and it changes, so I kind of go with the changes. And then numerology helps me understand what to focus on for that month. In that way, I am really in sync with my own energy and how I can use it in the best way possible
Mm.
without burning out. I'm just really in tune and always listen to my body. That I think would be my best advice, numerology or not, just listening to my body. Even without the cycles, it's just about noticing how you respond in certain situations, noticing when you're overdoing it, when you need to take a break, and really taking those times to spend some time alone to regenerate. Actually managing my energy consciously has helped me so much, because I realized that before I was completely like spending my energy and not taking the time to regenerate. I don't even think that I understood how I was regenerating. But once I figured it out, that was just a few years ago when I realized all of these things, and then was like, oh, right. So if I manage it, I can be okay. I can do the work that I need to do. I can take time off when I need to, and it all works fine. It's all about organizing your life accordingly, if you can, if you have, of course, this opportunity.
It's beautiful. And I love that, because you've taught me a lot about, managing your energy as a highly sensitive person, because
So important.
it's, you just burn yourself out. And I remember, like, of me kind of being a Capricorn, you have to work hard, and this hard work ethic, and I've got out of that. But it's taken time to strip away those layers and go, I don't feel guilty now doing the self-care, because then I'm more productive and I can focus my energy in the way I'm needed to, as you say. So I love that you track your cycles, and it's so beneficial, isn't it, to know the rhythms of your body. Then you know when you need to rest and when you need to, have more energy to be more social and to do those creative projects that are calling to you. So
Definitely.
it is insightful. So, okay, so I love that, because you're multi-passionate, and as you said, you do singing as well. There's so many things so many gifts you have. I love it. So, what would you say, being a multi-passionate person in business? I understand the struggle myself. And, we've talked about this a lot, but, what do you think, what has helped you? I guess what you've said, those things have helped you focus your energy. What has really helped you kind of decide what to focus your energy on? Because we have so many ideas. How do you make those decisions?
Wow, yeah, that is a big one. I think as a multi-passionate person, you have 1,000 ideas by the minute. And yeah, I always do. Ever since I was a little girl, I had multiple projects that I was working on. Seriously, this is like the most normal way of being for me. I know it's not for everyone, but you know that if you're creative, it's impossible to just do one thing at a time. I actually worked with an amazing coach, Muriel Marie, who actually works with multi-passionate women. She taught me really amazing ways to manage my energy, and how the solo tasking helps so much in your business. So it takes a lot of effort, I won't lie, to focus on one thing at a time. It's definitely a challenge, because of course I usually work very spontaneously and intuitively, and I just like, I have this idea, I need to tell it to the world right now. So it takes a lot of self-control to be like, no, Maja, let's just plan things out a little bit. It's so funny, because I am a Virgo. You would think that I was really organized, but really it takes me an effort to be this way. And I realized that, well, I think you have to find your own system, to be honest. So the way I found my system is that, let's say in my coaching, I definitely launch one thing at a time. So it depends. If it's a program, then it's definitely going to take me 6 weeks at least to promote, prepare, and I'll be just talking about that. So I kind of structure the year, and I plan ahead and just decide when I'm going to do each thing. And then I just and I leave some spaces where I could be a little bit more flexible. So for me, it's always about balance, and I need to have the time to do different things. So that's and what do you focus on? Well, I don't know. By now I have a system already. I kind of know how I like to work, and I always adapt as well according to where I am in life. So if I'm shifting into something else, I like to always leave room for growth and restructuring.
Mm.
So every year I do consider what was working in the past year, what would I want to have in this year, and then kind of plan accordingly.
Mm.
So, and then what to focus on, I focus on what feels right. I mean, it depends. Like some things, like the Activate the Flow of Abundance course goes twice a year. That I just decided it that way. So that's the thing. But then I kind of figure out what feels good to me. So if I'm in the mood for a group program, then I'm gonna launch a group program. And if I feel like this would be the best offer in this moment, I don't know how to explain. You kind of have to see what is going on and what your people, what your community needs, and then kind of figure it out. Yeah, it's a very, some of the parts are definitely planned, but I definitely need time for creation and, you know, innovation and
Balance,
create something
isn't it?
new. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
love.
it's kind of a combination of like planned things and, you know, things that are spontaneous. Like
Mm.
as a business owner, I would focus definitely on the one thing that will bring you the best results, whatever your goal is, and that will take the least effort.
Yeah,
So
of
because
course.
I'm aligning with ease, you know, in the last few years, I realized that I had this subconscious pattern that I have to work hard for the money or struggle. And then I just started shifting that. And I was like, actually, no, I don't really want that. So I'm just holding the frequency for that for a really long time, just for it to stick. Because, you know, if you've been affirming it for most of your life, then of course that is going to be a difficult time for you to, you
Yeah.
know, earn money. So I am always aligning with, you know, it's easy, it's effortless, and it just has to flow, and just creating a program that feels good to me.
Beautiful. I love that. There's so much of that that I want to dive into because you know, you've helped me so much as well. Trust in that bigger vision. And
Mm.
also that I think helps you as us as creatives to decide what you're going to focus on. Because if you connect with that bigger vision, then it's sort of like, and you connect to yourself and your body. And I think as creators, we can really be in our heads. So we're like overthinking everything. And as you said, it's being flexible. So you can be spontaneous, but you have that structure in place. And I mean, I used to be so scattered, my schedule was just all over the place. And I tend to do it every week. But it's something about handwriting a schedule. It's something about that for me as a creative that really helps me. Even if it looks a bit messy, I kind of move things around. But I think, yeah, people, as visuals, maybe because we're visual, it does help to see a tangible thing for me. But yeah, going back to the kind of the vision as well, I love that because from your 5-week abundance course that I've done a couple of times, which is great, it's really helped. It just helps you get crystal clear on what your bigger vision is, you know, and the mindset, as you said, about the you have to work hard for money is such a ingrained belief that I also have. So it's kind of unpinning that and just like you said, affirming your new reality. And I love that you teach that. And yeah, so I'd love to dive more into that. You know, the vision. What would you say to people that are, again, just in a bit of a rut in their sort of creative business and they feel stuck? What would you say to help them realign and connect with that bigger vision?
That's a tough question.
Or how do you do it yourself?
Remembering why you started,
Mm.
you know, sometimes it's okay to take a step back and just go within and see what brings you joy in this moment, you know, what you are passionate about. Because often I see, especially when it's when your business is your passion, uh, you start doing it and you're enjoying it, but after a while it actually becomes a job, and then you start hustling, and then you start focusing on like, are you bringing revenue, especially if it's your only livelihood, and then this adds to stress. And then if something's not working, I often see it like something's not working, you change it and you go to another idea, and it's like, no, you kind of have to give it time. It really takes consistency and really disciplined action in a longer period. And that's something I learned over the years. But if you feel it's too much, you need to stop whatever you're doing and go within, check in and see where you're at, what doesn't feel right, where do you feel like you've been pushing. And to me, and as a spiritual person, the way I function is, for example, if I have a reoccurring pattern of a situation that is happening, for example, I don't know, clients always asking for a discount or payment plans or whatever, or not paying even, if you're having such a recurring pattern, then it would be a subconscious belief that I would look into. So it's like, okay, so what is this showing me right now? Because everything, that is what I believe in, that everything around us is actually a projection of our own subconscious mind. So it's basically communicating with us the whole time. So you can literally identify your belief by looking at your life situations and see, oh, okay, so this means that maybe I need to change that, and so I use belief clearing techniques like EFT or Theta belief clearing. Those are the two my go-to practices to really clear any resistance around it and shift my energy, and then I refocus the energy on what I do want instead. And this is the easiest way. If you can locate the limiting belief, all you have to do is switch it into the positive. So for example, if it says like, my clients always look for special treatment, and then you switch it into a positive, like my clients love to pay me in full and with ease, we connect well, just define what that ideal client is for you. And then I usually tap it in, like affirmations, I tap them in, I rampage on it. And it's crazy how it works. For example, right now you can't actually even book a session on my page. It doesn't exist because I'm shifting into something else. I'm still rebranding it, but I'm still landing clients, and that is only because of my energetic alignment, because I choose who I want to work with. And
I love that. And actually, I love the energetic alignment thing, because you do the actions to align with it. You taught me that. So in the Zoom calendar, I put new client, and actually they do come that way because you're trusting. And that's another thing is, I think, as you say, when something's not working for creatives in their business, I definitely know myself, you start doubting it, you start doubting yourself. But actually it takes time. You just have to be, you have to persist, and you have to be consistent to show up, which I know for women can be quite scary if there's a lot of self-doubt. But it is just having that faith that things are working out. And that's another thing that is clear to me in the way you live your life, is like having faith in the universe, that you're always supported. And I absolutely love that, because so many times I'll start doubting myself if something's not coming, and then we try and micromanage the how, and then you get into the control space, and it doesn't work. So for creatives, it's really important that we just let go and surrender. Easier said than done sometimes, but just let go and just keep showing up, like every single day. I think it's key.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it has really been, my life experiences have taught me to trust, because every single time I trusted, magical things started happening. So I always try to, align with surrender, and just the zero resistance, as whatever I can do to remove resistance is what I do. Of course, it's not easy always. It's not always easy, but it is the practice. It is the practice, and it gets easier with time. I just remember, I'm sure that everyone had, I hope everyone had in their lives one moment where things did work out, and then you just kind of hold on to that. And what I like to remind people of, especially when you start doubting yourself, is that you're unique. Like, there is not literally not a person like you. And there's no way that there can anyone be your competition. For example, for me, I don't have competition, because I know who I am, and I know that somebody will resonate with me, somebody will resonate with you, and that's fine. There's so many people in the world that need help, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we can all find clients.
I
And
love
it's
that.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. We are unique. That is so true.
just
And everyone's got
remember.
to appreciate themselves, right? And yeah, you say, is that holding on to that faith? And what would you say if somebody, again, is talking to the creatives out here, when people start to micromanage things and worry about the how, like how do you shift into that space of trust? Because I know it myself, sometimes it can be hard, but there are things we can do and kind of affirmations we can say to help us shift out of that mindset. And it is like a muscle, isn't it? We have to keep
Yeah.
working on it and keep strengthening it.
Yeah, it's definitely a practice that needs to, you need to work on it a little bit. For me, it's like, so I'm clairsentient, and I always feel, and over the years it has really increased. So over the years, I feel when there is resistance, and I feel when there's flow. So it's very obvious to me, actually, at this point. So I would just say, listen to your own feeling. When things are not working out, and if I have door after door closed, this is my sign, okay, not that, or not now. Like, there's three things that can happen. It's either a no, don't do it, or not now, or find a different way to get what you want. It can be a yes, go for it, and it can be stop, wait. These are the three options, in my experience anyways. So I really just function like that the whole time. I'm just listening constantly and observing the signs, and that's how I flow with it. But I would just practice gratitude, honestly, for everything, because it's all for your highest good and bad. It's really hard to believe that, but it is, because oftentimes after a hard experience, you see where it leads you. It usually leads to something better somehow. So even though this year also has been quite crazy, but I'm sure that a lot of us have had a lot of breakthroughs and have moved into different places or learned some things through the experience. So I would just say, focus on the lesson. Trust that there is a lesson. And if you're not seeing it right now, you will. Trust me, you will see it very soon. And maybe not even in a day or two. Maybe sometimes it becomes obvious in a month, or even after 6 months, you see like, wow. But I would always practice being that observer. That's why I love meditation, because it helps you become that observer, or mindfulness, just keeping your attention in the present moment. So that's really my thing. I try to bring my attention to the present moment. If I'm freaking out and I'm like, then I just first, get angry, but then express whatever you need to express in whatever way it feels good to you. So as long as it doesn't hurt other people, and then focus on the present moment and be like, okay, what can I control right now? Okay, if there's something I can't control, well, let's just leave it to the universe to, make its magic. But I need to focus on what is happening right now, and that's all you can do. Take a breath and express gratitude for it, whatever lesson it will be, and I'm sure it's going to be a valuable one, even if you're not seeing it right now. So for me, it's happened so many times that at this point I'm just like, okay, another lesson, great. So it's much easier right now, because I know already, okay, this is going to be a good one, especially if it's like a really hard lesson, then I'm very aware. So it's about conscious living and being constantly aware. And mind you, this is a practice, since I was a teenager. So it's been a long time since I've been living in this way. So that's why it is easier now, of course, when you start. But I feel like a lot of people are awakening in the last few years. I've seen a lot of people become more aware, which is great. And it's just, for me, it made my life so much easier, honestly, because I realized that I don't have to figure everything out. All I have to do is decide what I want, put my, the hook out there, like my fishing rod, and then something will catch, and I just fully trust the universe to bring me the best of what I'm able to receive. And
That's a great.
sometimes it's not according to my plan, but it is according to the divine plan, and I just trust it because yeah,
It's great advice. Yeah, there's so much there. I think we have to find our own way, but there's, I think we all know deep down, we all have that inner knowing, intuition, whether you're clairsentient, like you said, or you have visions, but often we doubt it, and it's learning to trust that inner voice in whatever way it comes.
yep.
To keep moving. I mean, the amount of times, and I know you've had it, talking about faith and trusting. I mean, the amount of times I've shared this before with people, is the amount of times I've had like literally nothing left in my bank account, and some payment has come out of nowhere. and it's happened so many times to me, I can't remember how many times. And I just say to people, you might think, the shit's hit the fan, literally, but if you believe in miracles and you believe you're being supported, you always will be. So
Unbelievable. Yeah, it
it's
happened to me so many times.
right.
Yeah, then we would have like 1,000 come in a day. Like things can change in a day. What I would just tell people, things can change in a day. You can be in a completely different place. I mean, I've had so many miraculous solutions happen because I trusted. And the thing is, like, this surrendering part is the most difficult thing, I think. Honestly, I mean, it's really challenging, and it's it's a challenging practice, but it's worth it in the end, because you get things that are even better. Oftentimes things, how they develop in a way that I would not have been able to predict it.
Yeah.
And in a way better way than I could have ever planned it myself. So I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. In the timing, also the divine timing. If something is not working right now, it's like, trust me, when it does, it will be the right time. It's just amazing. I think these are the things that I can say just because of the life experience. Honestly, that's the only difference, because I just had so many examples at this point, that I don't have any doubts anymore.
That's good. And maybe we often need we need those experiences that wake us up and shake us to actually strengthen our faith, I really think so. And I remember a story of when you first moved to Paris. You didn't have everything sorted, and you moved from Croatia to Paris, and you leapt into it, and things worked out for you. So it's really that, like, what's the phrase I love, leap and the net will appear. Absolutely love that quote, because it is living with being open and trusting. You step through the next door, another door will open. So yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I often do those things.
yeah, but I love the way
crazy, actually, a little bit. But there's so many things that you can. These are the subconscious beliefs as well, that you can change. That it doesn't have to. You don't have to wait until the last minute for things to shift, or there's a lot you can dig into deeper into it. But it's it's definitely worth it. This definitely. And also, you can shift the belief that you have to learn through such experiences. Traumatic, which is what I've been shifting in the last few years, and honestly haven't had any of these situations before. In the last few years, I haven't had any dramatic experiences, because these days I choose to learn before it happens. But it takes so much practice. It's an ongoing thing, really. And it's hard because we are so attached to this material reality, and it's a bit especially with so many distractions, which is why self-care and taking time for yourself and checking in and listening to your intuition, because we all have that. Some people have it more developed, but it can be practiced. I'm really the living example, because I don't think I clearly heard my intuition before. Like now it's it's way more obvious. So it can be practiced as well. So I would just say, don't give up. Listen to your gut. You have all the answers within. It's all there. You just have to tap into it a little and remove those layers of blockages.
Yeah, it's true. And also, I think as humans, we want to control things because it feels safe. So of course, uncertainty we don't like uncertainty because we don't know how and when things are going to happen. We get impatient, and I know I've got impatient so many times. But it's just, I think I'm getting better at the uncertainty, and I'm sure everyone is at the moment, really. Um,
Yeah, that is actually one thing that I can say that might make a difference in someone's life.
yeah.
Um, we tend to hold on. We need a consistent something consistent in our lives to, as you said, feel safe and stable. The thing is, this world we live in is not consistent. Everything is movement. If you look at it, if you stop right now, everyone watching, stop right now and then look around, you will notice at least one thing that is moving, whether it's like a wind, moving the trees, your breath. There's so many things moving constantly. This world is in constant movement. The only thing that is constant in this world is change.
Mm.
So once you accept that, you're good.
Love that.
Seriously, that has been like the greatest thing. I was like, okay, I expect change. So
Bring it
yeah,
on.
it really helps you move through everything. Just make sure that you are the grounding center. You can move through anything. Yeah, you just make sure that you're taking time for yourself. You're stopping and making sure you're in the present moment, trusting, aligning with gratitude and ease. But moving through the change is much easier when you don't have resistance.
Yeah, as you say, surrendering.
Out when you
Yeah,
freak out, it's gonna be hard. You're
yeah.
gonna attract more problems. So I
You
would.
are, totally, I agree. And I love the way you work because you have so many practical tools that you use with people as a healer and coach. So just to sort of like come to the end of all this, I would love to, like, how, if people want to get your support, how can they, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Normally, at this moment, I work with holistic business coaching. So I work with creative and spiritual entrepreneurs and help them align with their offerings, with their vision. So that's one way. So it's more like business coaching. And the second thing that I've been contemplating lately, because I feel like a lot of people could use some spiritual guidance, and so there will be some energetic alignments, activations included in this membership. So yeah, that's a new thing I'm creating.
Hey, it sounds
I'm
exciting.
really excited about it. So it's going to be an annual thing and also like a half a year thing. So to give people options. So
So
you can
yeah,
definitely check out my website. I'll be updating it in the next week or so.
great. And
Yeah, I'm very excited about it because that's the thing. As you know, even in business coaching, we work on alignment and trust and all of these spiritual concepts as well. So yeah, it's quite intuitive.
it's so important. I love the way you work 'cause it's like, it's not just the business side, it's so much more than the energy, everything, your vision. It's all the parts that you need to move forward. So that's great. And also Maya, and I'll leave all the links in the description, but Maya has a podcast as well, I've got to say, and your YouTube channel with all the vlogs, which is really fun to watch, exploring Paris. So check that out. And is there anything else you're working on that you would love to share with people, or anything that would help them?
I would just say believe in yourself, because that's the most important thing. And to me, that's what made me succeed in everything that I created, is because I believed. And oftentimes we're surrounded with non-believers. And just because they're afraid to take that leap of faith and because they are doubting your success doesn't mean that you will fail. That's their projection, their truth, and maybe they're projecting some of your subconscious fears. But I would just say, trust yourself. I think that's the biggest thing, that especially as artists and creatives, we tend to doubt ourselves, and just believe in your unique talent because you have it for a reason. You've been called to do this for a reason, so it is meant to be shared with the world. And it's actually, you're doing a disservice to the world if you're holding back. And yeah, I really believe that all of our gifts are God-given, so we have received them for a reason. They're meant to be shared. So just remember that it's there for a reason. You're meant to share it if you feel called to do it, and you're unique. Nobody can compare. So just go for it.
I love that. Wise wisdom. That's coming from your Aquarius moon, I'm sure. Being unique. I love it though. We often forget that. It's so important. Yeah. Great.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for chatting. It was really fun to just dig into that. And you've shared so much amazing wisdom with people. So I will drop all the links to your information for them. So
Thank
thank
you.
you, Maja.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's comments. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Yeah. And thank you, Hannah, for a wonderful interview.
Great. Thank you, Maja. Great. Thanks for being here.